Good morning, everybody. This is Diane. Give me one sec. I'm making sure. There we are. I can see that. I'll just wait for some of you. We are a few minutes early. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have technical difficulties like I did the last time around. Because like I say in the past, you know me and technology. So anyways, it looks like we are there. If you want to send some likes or something like that too, just so we see. And I will watch comments as well as we go along. I'm not seeing any comments yet, but that doesn't mean anything. Let me try this again and see. Yeah, I'm not seeing comments, but hopefully we will see those come up. And if not, I will do my best. Good morning, everybody. I can't believe here we are, February the 13th, day before Valentine's Day. I hope you are all staying warm. It is it's been a beautiful week here in BC, but a very cold week, especially for us. We are wimps really when it comes to weather out here. And I saw the news this morning, and my goodness, Ontario and Toronto, you're getting just hammered back there now too. So yeah, I am sorry to hear that, but this is Canada winters. Okay, yay, look at, I'm seeing comments. Just a sec. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're jumping on there. Yes, happy Galentine's Day, ladies. Good one, Margarita. Yes. Yeah, it is, like I say, it's hard to believe. Here we are almost mid-February at this point. So I'm glad you were able to join me this morning. I hope you'll either craft along or you will watch it and do it afterwards. I came up with a different idea this time. I decided that I would do a little flip book. And if you remember, I meant to look it up to see which Crafty Hour it was. I can't remember now, but it was a fall one that we did. And it had all fall, I'm pretty sure it was Spellbinders too. But anyways, it was a fall flip book that we had done a long time ago. And I thought, well, I'm going to bring that back out because this Winnie the Pooh, to me, even though you can make awesome cards, and I will show you an inspiration card at the end that I have directions for you, I thought, well, this would be something a little bit different. So I'm going to just show you the little book here first, and then I've got all my dimensions here for you and some instructions in that as well. So we are good to go. I know I did have a couple of comments prior about 12 by 12 paper. I have adapted just note-wise. I didn't, of course, make a whole other project, but I did do just some notes too on if you only had 8.5 by 11, all you'd have to do is reduce it a little bit and you'd still be fine. You just wouldn't see quite as much of the background. That's all. But I will show you that too as we go along here. So these were the papers that I had asked you to pull. I'd like to welcome Courtney back. I don't know if she's on or not. My goodness, she's probably still sleeping. Her and Diana have been go over the last little bit. So I went ahead, I showed her what I had used for my papers. We always have to make sure that we share because Courtney will do her Crafty Hour later this afternoon at 5 o'clock Pacific time. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't use anything that she might. But I know a lot of you bought extras, extra die cut packs, extra paper packs. You probably have extras that you could go ahead and do it. It wouldn't be an issue. And things can be adapted. There's so many cute things in these. So yeah, it's great. So I won't have written instructions. I'll probably have a few notes, Gloria, but I will have the sheets that have the dimensions that I always show that you can always take a screenshot of as well. So yeah, for sure. I'm just going to move the papers that I'm using off to the side for a sec, and I will show you this little flip book. So I made it like a flip book for putting photos into. You could do the same thing and that's why I want to show you the bones of making the little book. And you could do it as a card for somebody that you maybe wanted to put recipes in, or a gift card in, or just notes, or whatever you wanted to do. But I'm using photos, and I'll show you what I did. This was what I just did at the very end of it, just tied a ribbon around it, just sort of hold it into place. You can do that, or you don't need to. So I'll move that out of the way, and I'll just show you. So the idea is that it's a 6x6 book that opens like this, but here's your little flip. So this is the flip that we did, and this flip gets tucked inside. So it gets covered by this background in here, so you don't see where the flip goes into, but it forms a little flip. And so I did the cover. The cover we will put together with our die cuts and that today. So you'll be doing that. And I'll show you this. This was using that awesome, what am I trying to say? Die from Spellbinders that you got included in this kit. Just absolutely amazing. So yes, that's what we will do. And it just sort of formed a little accent piece for me. And I will show you another idea that you can do with that a little bit later on as well. So this is the flip. For those of you that know me, this is my special little man. This is my grandson, Max. And this photo was one of my favorite photos that I had taken. He is almost 3 now, so he doesn't look like this little baby anymore. But when I saw this die that was in here that said a hug is always the right size, I had to put this photo in. So that's why I put that. But again, this little flip could come up. You could put something else here, a gift card or notes or anything you wanted to do. And then it flips open this way. And again, so you've got the 2 strips of the paper that we will put in here. And then you could put a couple of photos like I have done, or again, you could put other things in it. So what we're going to do today is, as we go along, we're going to make, like I say, the bones of the book. So we'll do all the backgrounds. Then I'll leave it up to you, because you may want to put your photo in first and then add your die cuts, or you're not using photos or whatever you're doing. But this at least gives you an idea of how you can put it together, and then you can take it from there. Do all kinds of things. You could put a little piece, which we've done in the past, like a diagonal piece of paper here, and a little gift card could slip in. There's so many options. And then you just flip around the back, and I put this cute one on the back. This is a recent photo, and so his picture, and then the little die cut off to the side as well. And we've got that. We're just going to mat that and put that there too. So this was the idea that I came up with this little flip book, and I thought it would be something a little bit different than just doing a card for someone. And so you can definitely play around with it afterwards, but we will make the bones, like I say, of the book, and we'll start working on that now. So I'm just going to stick this up here to the side. And as we go along, I will tell you where we're kind of working too. So I did ask for people to have the 12 by 12 piece of cream cardstock. Make sure that I've got this in camera view here. I want to make sure. I'm a little delayed on the iPad, so I have to wait just 1 sec just to make sure that I've got it in view. I'll bring it down a tiny little bit. And then you can always take screenshots or whatever of these too, because that has all of your dimensions on it too. And you can always reach out if you didn't get it. I can always let you know too afterwards. So when we're working with the 12 by 12, here's our dimensions. Now, I had mentioned to somebody, because like I say, some people were concerned they may not have a 12 by 12 piece of paper. They work mostly with 8.5 by 11. That's fine. So what I did was, instead of it being the 6-inch, so the 6-inch is what this one is, our book that we've talked about already. All it would be is, instead of that, you would use your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You would cut it to 5.5 instead of 6, and score it at 5.5. So the only difference is it's just going to be a little bit less. So if you put this here underneath the flip, you can kind of see that you're going to have a smaller border around the outside. That would be the only difference. But you, of course, could cut this down too if you wanted to. And and then you would just have to reduce your mat sizes. So as I started with the 6x6, then your mats were cut down, you know, this brown that we had on the outside, the pattern, you would just have to reduce that a little bit. But it's definitely doable with your 8.5 by 11 piece of paper as well. Okay, so that is there just to let you know it can definitely be done. Okay, so let's grab our trimmers and we'll grab our cream cardstock. And I had mentioned that I love the Buttermint cardstock from Basil only because it is a very, very heavy weight cardstock. So I like that especially to use as the base of my book. So we're going to cut a piece of the cream cardstock in half, so 6 inches, because this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So we're going to cut it at 6 inches. Get this piece out of the way. And we are going to score it at 6 inches. And as I've told you in the past, this is why I love my Spellbinders trimmer, because it has my cutting blade and my scoring blade always on it. So I never have to go looking for my scoring blade or anything as well. So I'm going to score that at 6 inches. So that is what's formed our background for our book. That is this piece here. So this is our book. That is what's formed that background piece. Okay. So, and then you can burnish it. I don't think I remembered my burnisher today, but if you have a burnisher, it always gives it a little bit nicer fold line, but we'll just make do today. So there is our background for our book. And then while we have our cream out, I figured we may as well cut the piece which is going to form our flip. Okay, so that piece is going to be 4 1/4 by 11. So all you're going to do is cut, because you've still got this extra piece of your cardstock, your 6-inch piece, cut it to 4 1/4 inches. There we go. And we want to cut it to 11 inches because this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper. We're just going to cut an inch off. So you can open up the little part here and go to 11 inches. Okay, and that's going to form our flip, and we can score it at 5 1/2. So halfway now, because it's an 11-inch piece of paper, we're scoring it at 5 1/2. And that is formed our flip. So again, you can just burnish it, just give it a nice crisp fold. Okay, so everybody's doing okay? Everybody's following along all right? This is easy so far. So those are going to be our 2 pieces. That's basically making, like I say, the bones of this book. All right, so those are our 2 cream pieces. So we'll just move this off to the side. And like I say, I can always take screenshots of these cards later on. That's not a problem at all. Okay, so now we are going to cut our brown cardstock. It was brown that I used. If you wanted to use a different color, you go right ahead. You could use gold. You could use a foil or a glitter too if you wanted to make it a little bit more fancy. Would totally work. Charlene, I'm glad you were happy with those adaptive measurements. No problem at all. And I can always post that picture that I have them written on too. I can do that tonight as well. So you'll have that as well for going forward. Okay, so let's grab a sheet of brown cardstock. Now this one did not have to be 12 by 12. The only reason I used 12 by 12 was because this dimension, the first one, which is 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, well, I'm gonna get 4 of them out of my 12 by 12 piece of paper. But if you have 8 1/2 by 11, no problem at all. It doesn't really matter. You're great. Okay, so we're going to cut. I figured we'd do our sort of cutting first and then we'll start playing with putting it together. So we're gonna cut 4 pieces of the brown cardstock, and it will be 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, and that's 1/8 less than 6 by 6. So if you go to where your 6 by 6 measurement is on your trimmer and just pull it back 1/8, so it's just that tiny little bit, you're just going to cut there. And you can move that off to the side and do the same thing this way. So 5 7/8. And like I say, if you were going to be working with the 8.5 by 11, you would just cut it down. If your piece was 5.5 by 5.5, you could do 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. Not an issue at all. Okay, and then just flip your paper around and do the other 5 7/8. And 5 7/8. So you're left with a really tiny little piece of cardstock. That's all you had left out of that. And then just do the same for your other two pieces. 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. Okay, so those are our 4 pieces that are going to go on the front, the back, and the 2 inside pieces. Okay, so we have those 4 pieces cut here now too. Oh, thank you, Margaret. Nice to see you in San Jose, California. I'm sure you are much warmer than we are, let me tell you. And Gay, no problem. Like I say, I will show that little folder that I did with the 8.5 by 11, and I'll post that later tonight. Okay, and then while we've got our brown cardstock sitting here as well, we may as well cut the 2 pieces that are going to go on our flip. So it's going to go on the front side of the flip and the inside of the flip. The other part, like I said before, is going to get tucked in, so you don't have to worry about that. So you want to cut 2 pieces, cut 2 more pieces of your brown cardstock, and to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So 4 1/8, that's just over your 4-inch. And you're only going to need 1 strip of this, so you're going to have lots of brown left over. And who can't use brown cardstock? And 5 3/8. So 5 1/2 minus 1 is your 5 3/8. Or if you go 1, 2, 3, there's your 5 3/8 as well. So it's just a tiny bit of a border around the outside. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's our brown cardstock cut. So we've got our base out of our cream, and we've got our brown, which is going to form our mats. So we've got all of those sitting here. You can just tuck those off to the side for a second. Okay, so now the next part, and again, like I say, we may as well just do all our cutting and then we can do our creating. I used the beehive paper. Let me pull the little book in here. I used this beehive paper as the background. I thought it was just absolutely perfect with the cover of the little flip. So if you want to use a different paper, you're welcome to. All I ask is if you change it up, maybe wait till after you see Courtney's presentation, just in case. That way you can see the papers that she is going to be creating with as well. Or if you have an extra 6x8 pad, which I know a lot of people bought ahead of time, then you're good to go. You're going to have lots of extra paper, so you'll be totally fine. Totally up to you. So this one here, all we need it for is the cover, but we are going to use the leftover strip for the back cover. So I figured instead of wasting it, we would use it on the back. That's what formed this. So it's not a whole cover on the brown, but it at least tied it in with the front and the back. So we've got the little beehive paper there in the back, but that's just going to be the leftover strip. And I just put keep the leftover strip. We'll cut it to size when we get to the back cover. So for our front cover, we're going to cut it 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so you're going to take 5 3/4 because this is a 6-inch pad. It's a 6x8 pad. So you're going to go to 5 3/4. Again, no what am I looking for? The way that it's cut doesn't matter because it's an all over print. So it really doesn't matter. So 5 3/4, and then we're going to cut this to 5 3/4 this way. And see, this is the strip. You can just stick it to the side because like I say, we're going to use this afterwards just to put on the back of the flip. And we're not wasting it. It's so cute. I love beehive paper. I mean, you guys know me. I've done a few different bee design cards and things too. So it's just a perfect tie-in with the awesome Winnie the Pooh. Okay, so just put your leftover strip to the side. Put your background paper with your brown paper and cream papers because we'll work on those in a second. And then the other paper that we can cut right now is the other one I asked you to pull, which is the Pooh map. So this is this adorable one of the 100 Acre Wood. And so what I did with this one, I'll just open this up. These were the 2 strips. So here and here. So you obviously want to make sure you're cutting them the right way. You don't want to cut it this way. Unless you want to put it down here or a different way, totally up to you. But I cut them in the vertical strips, okay? So that's where these 2 papers are going. And we'll, you know, I'll have the paper out too when we're actually sticking it together. But your Pooh map paper, I called it here, you need 2 pieces for the inside, and they are 3 inches by 5 3/4 inches. So again, this is a 6-inch piece of paper this way, 8 this way. So all you have to basically do, if you cut your piece this way first at 5 3/4, okay, so just like that, 5 3/4, then that piece of paper is just going to be scrap. You can use it later. And then you're just going to cut 2 3-inch pieces. And because this is a 6-inch pad going this way, that's all you have to do is 1 extra cut. So this piece and this piece are what are going here. Okay, so that's what we used on the inside. Again, if you want to use a different paper, totally up to you. Just wait and see what Courtney uses. Okay, so those 2 guys can go to the side as well. Oh, that's great, Gloria, seeing it as a folio. Awesome. See, it's a great pattern, right? You can use it for all kinds of things. So we'll stick that over to the side. Everybody's okay with those dimensions so far? We're doing all right, I hope. And like I say, I will post these cards later on, so then you'll have those too. Okay, so the next one that we can cut is our embossed piece. So in homework, I did ask you to emboss a piece, of course, because you know me, you always have to have the embossing folder in any of my Crafty Hour creations. So you could use anything you wanted. I used this one. This one was the Floral and Vine, I believe it's called. I know I had it sitting here. From Spellbinders, which again are my absolute favorite embossing folders. I have absolutely never a problem with the 3D embossing folders going through. I have the Platinum, and I love it. It just goes through. It's so nice, and I use the heavyweight paper for it. I just love how it comes up. The texture is fantastic. So you're going to get your, I asked you to just cut an embossed piece, just emboss a piece of cardstock that you would have, and we're going to cut it to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and that is for the front of the flip. So that's just forming the background of the flip that's here. Okay, and again, you don't need to. If you want to keep it blank, you want to ink that ahead of time before you do it, you could do that too. But yeah, that's what we're going to use it for. So we're going to cut it at 4 inches. So 4 inches across and 5 1/4 inches long. Okay, and if I grab my book, that is the piece that's going to go on. Okay, so just like that. It's just going to go on the brown mat that we've already cut, and that's your piece, that's your background. Just like that. Everybody's doing okay? I want to make sure that I'm getting my comments here. Perfect. Okay, so that's your embossed piece. These other little pieces you can use for extras. You can always use scraps of embossed pieces of paper. So that was what this card was. It's just your dimensions for your embossed piece. Okay, so I think what we could do is we could start working on our cover of our flip. So if we want to do that, the little Pooh square that is here, right here, that's great. Good, Lynn, thank you. This little Pooh square is off of a piece of your paper. So here's your papers here. This was one of the sheets. You saw the honey. I used that one on the very back of the book. This one here is what we're going to use on the front of the book. So it's what this background is with the cute little Winnie the Pooh die cut on it. But you just don't see this little Winnie the Pooh inside it. He's covering up. The die cut is covering it up. But I just love the fact that this this rainbowy colored diagonal plaid, I just absolutely fell in love with. And that's what I used to do the little clip as well with the die cut. And I thought it went well with the letters, all these beautiful happy and all those kind of words that you got to. Okay, so what you want to do first of all, there's my embossed piece off to the side, is you can just cut your piece off of this piece of paper. So just go ahead and cut it on the line. I think it works out to be 2 by 3 or 3 by 4. So it's a 3 by 4 little card. So you go ahead and just cut that off just like that. And the honey one is the one that we're going to use for the back cover. Okay. So now you have this little piece here, which is what we are going to use for this little Pooh square that's going to go on to our flip cover. And all I did for this, so I've said it's about 2 5/8 by 3 3/8, but what you want to do is you kind of want to move it over so that you have a tiny little border around the outside. And as long as you have that established, then you could just do your brown one a little bit bigger than that. So it's not exact, but you don't want to go ahead and cut it at 2 5/8, because you know what you're going to do? You're going to go 2 5/8 and all of a sudden you've lost this entire strip over here. So you just want to kind of put your trimmer to the outside of that diagonal plaid so that you have a tiny little border like that. Does that make sense? And like I say, it works out to be approximately 2 5/8. But it doesn't have to be exact because you're going to put, oh, bring the measurements down a bit. Sure, sorry about that, Susan. There you go. Okay, so, and then just do the same thing all the way around. So just put your little card on your trimmer and just take a tiny little piece. So you've got this tiny little cream border around the outside. You see what I'm doing there? That's good. And same on the bottom. So now we've got this tiny little border all the way around. There we go. And that's what's formed this little piece that we're going to stick on to our cover of our flip. All right, get rid of these little scraps. And then if you can grab a piece of your brown cardstock that you have off to the side, we're going to just cut a mat to go around it. So that's what this is. Just a tiny little brown mat just to mat that piece. And I'll just see if the 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. Let's see how that is pretty well. If you left a tiny little bit of a border more, then it may not be exact, but see, that is just a perfect little mat to go around the outside of that piece. But if you want to make a little bit bigger mat, go for it. It can be a little bit bigger too, not a problem at all. So while we've got this little piece together, instead of having the pieces just laying around, why don't we go ahead and just glue those together? So either use your saran or your glue or your tape runner, whatever you have. It's just flat. I didn't use foam squares or anything for this part of it. So we may as well stick those two pieces together. No, that way we know we have them ready to go. Okay, so that's those two little pieces together. Good? Everybody's okay? All right. So that is that little piece for doing the onto the flip. Okay, so I'm going to move that off to the side. Okay, so we have that done. We have the, what have I got here? Inside the front flip. Okay, so we could go ahead and do this piece too. That way we can put this together when we start building. So put your little card with all your other pieces that you've cut, and we've got them all in a little pile ready to go. So this is the next one I've got here inside the front flip. We're going to cut the diagonal plaid paper to 4 inch by 5 1/4. That is this piece of paper right here. And like I say, I just loved this diagonal plaid. And this is what I used to do my die cut as well, because there was enough of it. This is a small piece, and your piece was like 6 by 8. So, oh, great to see you, Lauren. Have a good day at work and watch on replay. That's awesome. Okay, so let me open this back up. So this is the piece that we are cutting right now, okay? So you're going to grab the diagonal piece. That was one of the ones I showed you in the homework, just that this was one of the papers that we're using. It has the silhouette on the background. And we're going to cut this piece 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So if you do 4 inches, you've still got half of it left. And it doesn't matter pattern-wise because it's all over. And by 5 1/4 inches. And that's going to be our inside. And we've already cut the brown mat. That was what we did initially. So we've already got it ready to go. Okay, so why don't we start putting it together, because my next card is just for doing the back page. And the back page we can do once we have the rest of it all put together. And like I say, you may not decide when you go to do the back page that you want to use this little honey thing. Or you may want to build it when we build it today, and then you could stick it on. You probably wouldn't put your photos on first, if that's what you're going to do, if you're going to use it for a photo. Okay, so let's go ahead and start building this. So we are going to do the cover first, okay? So the cover is the piece that has the beehive on it. Okay, so here's our book. This was our first one that we cut, the 6 by 6. Okay, and you can grab one of your brown pieces, and you can grab your beehive piece. Okay, so that's what this is. So here's our beehive piece, and we're going to put it onto our background. That's what this is in the background of our book. Okay, and we're going to do it all flat. I didn't use foam on, I don't even think, no, I didn't. I did it all flat because I figured this was our dimension here. So I did the beehive piece onto the brown piece flat. and then those two pieces onto the cream piece flat. And it's just a very tiny little border. Oh, good, Leslie Ann. I'm glad you have another piece. Great. Always have to have backup pieces, right? Okay, so then those two pieces onto our front flat. Just move this out of the way for a second. Easier to do it on the flat surface. Okay, so then that has just a tiny little cream piece around the outside. So there is our background. Our book itself is right there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the flip part. Okay, we're not going to attach the flip yet, but we may as well put it together. So that is this piece that we cut a few minutes ago with the score line. Okay, and we're going to do, and we've got our brown cardstock piece already cut, which is this piece here. Okay, so that's going to go on to there. And our embossed piece that we just cut is going to be on top. So it's those three pieces that we're going to put together first. Okay, and I used foam for the, did I use foam on there? No, I put, okay, so I put my embossed piece onto my brown piece flat. So these two pieces can just go together flat. And I love it when an embossing folder doesn't really have a real design, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so those two pieces flat. There we go. And then onto our flip with a little bit of foam tape or foam squares. If you want to have that dimension, if you'd prefer for it to be flat, you can go ahead and do that too. But otherwise, you can just use your little foam squares, or I grabbed some foam tape. I'll just use that. Put a few pieces. And that just pops it up a little bit, but like I say, you don't have to. It's entirely up to you. That I have for my die cuts. Give me one sec. Oh, here we go. There we go. All right. Okay, so yes, so now we can just cut these on, or pull this off here, garbage, and just attach that to the front. So just like that. And that forms our front flip. Okay, so now what we can do, and make sure that you get the right one, okay? So I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do here. We are going to put our plaid piece that we cut, that's going to go on the inside, but please, please, please make sure, okay? So we're opening it up. Here's our cover. We're opening it up. It's going in this top portion. You don't want to stick it down here, or when we put this into our flip book, you won't see it. So see, when this is going on, this is the piece that we want to have our plaid on. Okay, everybody okay with that? So just open it up. So you've got your embossed piece, open it up, And now grab your brown piece and your mat. We cut the brown earlier, and then we just cut this beautiful plaid paper. Okay, and it is going to go up here at the top and just flat. And if you look at my finished, that's where this has gone. That's where this cute little die cut is. It's up there at the top. Just make sure you don't put it down here into the bottom. Oh, that's awesome, Ethel. Making it for a birthday card. I love that. And you can stick a little gift card in it. Just absolutely perfect. Okay, so just take your glue or your whatever you have, your sequin or whatever you want to use, put it onto the brown. Just like this. Okay, again, tiny little border around the outside. And this is going to go up here. And again, you'll see a tiny little border of the cream showing. That's it. So what I'm going to do tonight, when I get home, I will post pictures of all the pages. And the reason I will do that is because, see, I don't have an extra set of die cuts. So I put this cute little hug one inside here, but I don't have one to show you that that's what I did. So I will just take a picture of each of the pages, but you can put a different die cut there. You could put a photo up there. You could put whatever you wanted up there. But this, I just thought this was so cute, especially because, like I say, this is my absolute favorite picture. And I used the scalloped circles. I think that's one of the ones, or lacy circles. I'm pretty sure that's one of the ones that Spellbinders brought back. That's what I used on the outside. And then just a couple of plain circles to mat it. You could just stick the die cut directly onto the background. You don't need to, but I just thought, well, this way you could have it, you know, have it a little bit of a detail on there too. So, you know, you're good to do it. That's awesome, Sharon. I love it. 50th wedding anniversary. Awesome. Okay, so now this is the next step. This is what we're going to do. So we're going to, hold on one second. I want to double check what I did here. Okay. All right. We're going to do things a little different because okay. So what we're going to do, let's take this off here. Now, one thing I showed you in homework was to get you, these are the dies that were included in your kit, this awesome Spellbinder die. And I asked you to cut, I believe I said the third, the fourth, and the third one of it. So what I did for mine is I used it as kind of a clip. So what you want to do is you want to take your trimmer or a scoreboard or whatever you have, and just to give it a little bit of a nicer line, see the little part that goes here, this little part that comes up here? If you put that on your score line, you're completely in the middle. So I just put it on there on my trimmer. Oops, not my cutter. I don't want my cutter. And I used my score blade, and I did the same thing here. Okay, so we've got the two of them exactly in half. No, not my trim, not my cutter. Okay, so they're both exactly in half. And then what you can do is just match up your score lines like that and glue the two pieces together. And so to me, this looked like a little clip. And you could have it coming off this way, you could have it coming over top, whatever you wanted to do. So just take your glue and just glue it on flat. And glue the two pieces together. And it just has, like, it's so beautiful because it gives the decorative edge on both of them too. And I used just the scrap that was left over from cutting our piece that went on the inside here. You still had lots to be able to do that for. Okay, so now when I built mine, I did, and I forgot, before we glued this on, our embossed piece, I tucked my clip on the inside of here, okay, and then did it. It doesn't really matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our piece, see, this is our flip, right? So we're going to put it on, just hold it in place here, the front cover. And this is where our clip is going to go, just up here. So what you can do is have it this way. You're still not going to see the other side. Whoops. You're still not going to see the other side of the clip because we're going to cover this now in brown. So all of that is hidden. You don't see all these pieces that are here. It's all getting hidden, okay? So what you want to do now is take your clip here. So I'm holding it. I've got my flip that I'm holding in place, and the clip is here. So now maybe what we should do, just to make it so that this doesn't move around, let's put some glue on the inside of this flip, okay? Because that way this will glue down, it's in place, and then we can put our little clip in place as well, just like that. So let's do that. So take your flip, okay, you've got it in place, grab your glue, and again, totally up to you. If you want to have your flip like a little bit more so you have a bigger border over here, you want to have it centered, you want to have it this way, wherever you want to do it, just determine that before you put it in place. I kind of just did it center. So I had a border on either side. Okay, so just like that. So now our flip is in place. It's glued here. We're going to take our cute little clip that we've built and we're going to glue it here and on the inside to hold it in place. Everybody okay? Everybody good? This I just thought was a real kind of cool idea to use as your accent. It's just a different way of using this die, that's all. Okay, so you're putting glue on both sides because we are going to attach the clip at the top on our embossed piece, and we're going to glue the back in here. Okay, so there you go. So there's your little clip in place, and it looks like it's a paper clip. So you've got that in place, right? Everybody good? Everybody okay? Yeah, something different. Just a different way of doing it. Hi, Courtney. I'm glad you're up and awake. So then your next part is you're going to take your another one of your brown squares, because remember we cut 4 of them, and this brown square is just going to be glued to the inside of this card. So like I say, you're losing all of the sort of the, you know, pieces of the flip and all that kind of stuff. You're hiding it. It looks nicer. It looks cleaner on the inside. Okay, so you're just going to take your brown square of paper, again, glue, flat, not any foam or anything, just because we want to make sure that we keep it nice and clear, that it closes easier for you. Okay, and we're just going to stick that. Again, it's going to have a tiny little bit of a cream border. And all you're really going to see is just the top of the rainbow here with the clip. But I think that looks kind of pretty. You can see it on the inside. And that is our flip. Just like that. Okay, everybody's good? Good. All right, so then we may as well take our other square of brown. We still have 2 squares left. We're gonna stick one on the inside here. And again, if you wanted to keep this clear, you wanted to just keep it cream so you could write on it, you could do that, or you could attach another little piece of cream for a note or whatever you wanted to do. I just kept it easy to be able to do my backgrounds all in the brown. Okay, so just like that. Again, there'll be a tiny little border all the way around it. There's those 3 pieces. This probably just needs a good burnish, just to keep it down. Okay, and then our last piece of brown, you can stick on the back. Okay, so you've got your pattern on the front, you've got a plain black or plain brown at this point on our back page. There we go. And that can go on our back page. Just like that. And it's straight. And there is, like I say, the bones to the flip book. Okay, and then the little, we did the little Pooh Bear ahead of time as well a little while ago. This you could either put over top of your clip, you can put it off to the side and kind of tuck it in underneath, whatever you want to do. If I was going to put this on here, I would use some foam tape just to kind of pop it up a little bit. And then you had so many words. Again, I don't have the words in duplicate, so I used the happy. These were from your package that were the sentiment bits, and you have honey and sweet and hello and friend and favorite, and I used happy just because the book to me is happy. This little guy here, I was just going to need some extra glue because of it being on embossed paper, so you can go ahead and do that after. And then you're going to use the adorable cute little Pooh Bear die cut. This one was out of the other pack, I believe. It was out of your, yes, he was out of the bits and pieces pack. So you got both packages. Just unbelievable the amount of dies and or die cuts that you can use. And then I use this here. I just put the tiny little you are my, and then I put the happy, and I put those on with foam tape. And I added a couple of little wood buttons just as an embellishment, and a couple of pearls just to, again, embellish it. You could use glitter glue, you could use whatever you wanted, you could keep it blank, whatever you wanted to do. Thanks, Jen. Okay, so that is your front cover of your flip. Your inside cover, this little guy here, like I say, needs some better glue. You're going to attach, if you want to, the hug is always the right size. That one is out of the sentiments one, I believe. No, yes, the sentiments bit has that one in it, so you could put that there. A photo here if you want to. Then when you open up your book, your 2 strips of the 100 Acre Wood. So you're gonna put your little flip down, open it up, and you're gonna have your 2 pieces of the 100 Acre Wood on either side. That's what I did here. And that way I could put my photos over top. Again, I want you to be able to do what you want to do. So you don't want to stick anything down, you know, you don't want to have this piece created and then you can't get to the background. So however you wanted to do it. I also used, because I had some little bit of scrap left of that plaid, that beautiful plaid that I just love. I just cut a tiny little piece, stuck it underneath my photo, and then another tiny little piece here. So just to embellish it, and again, kind of tie it through the entire book. So that's what I did for that. I added the sweet, and together it was a lovely day. This is one of my favorite photos of me and Max. And then the sweet with the Pooh Bear and the little word happy day here. But again, you tie it into what you're putting on your pages. If you're using it for a photo album, awesome. If you're not, then add it to gift cards or notes or anything you want to do. Okay, so that's the inside of it. And then the back flip is just this honey card. And all I did, this was the one that we had left over again off that sheet that we cut the little frame. All I did was cut it. I made a little mat and did a little brown mat here. So I had it ready to go. I had the little heart. The heart was in one of your die cut packs as well. And I stuck it over the heart here just to give it some dimension with some foam tape. And then the strip, so the back, this is our back. The strip was that extra strip of the honeycomb paper. And all you need to do is glue it down. It's good to go. We've got it ready because it was the same dimension as our front of the front of our book. So you are good. You've got it ready to go. Again, you can add a photo here if you want, and then add the little honey die cut. Good to go. So I thought it was a fun way of using this paper because, like I say, Winnie the Pooh, he just totally lends himself to photos of your favorite people. And I love the idea that people are using him for birthdays, or Sharon's using it for a 50th wedding anniversary. Like, how much fun. Like, just so neat that people are able to do that. Someone did ask about the ribbon that I had tied around the outside. Yes, it is a ribbon that we had here at Clipper Street. I don't know if we still have any of it left. Give it a few minutes, because when I'm done, I'll go grab the spool. And if you're interested, you could give us a call here at the store, but don't call for a few minutes because the girls won't have any idea of what ribbon that I would have used on it. So I'll go grab the spool and have it out up front for them to see. So this is our little book. The other thing I wanted to show you, just while we have a couple more minutes, we're pretty good for time actually, which is great. I just wanted to show you, this was kind of a demo idea that I came up with. So again, this die is just absolutely fantastic that you got included with this kit, which is just so good. So what I played around with is, see this card here. So this is a little bit different take on a card. I'm pretty sure I used this big one. I did. Okay, so all you would want to do for something like this is you would just cut your paper to whatever width, whatever length, whatever you wanted to do, and glue a piece of pattern paper onto the front. Okay, so no foam tape, nothing, just glue on there. And then take your die that you were given, put it on your card, hold it in place, you know, grab some of your tape that you hold, run it through your platinum or your Big Shot or whatever you do, and then this is what you're left with. So you're left with this hole here. Then what I did was I got one of my smaller ones, so I think it was the next one down. Yes, it was. And I cut another piece. And that way it could go on the inside with some foam tape and have this nice, just the white on the outside. So it's just going around it. And I added a stamp from my stash from forever ago and a little flower. And that makes such a quick and easy card. And the next nice thing about that is when you cut that out, you're also left with this piece. This is the piece that it would have cut out. Now you can make another card and attach that to, you know, just your background of your card and do the same thing, a stamp inside or onto a photo or something too. But don't throw it out because you've got an extra little bit to make a tag or a card too. So it's a great die. You'll really get a lot of use out of it. So that was an idea for a demo. And then I did do an inspiration card. I knew we wouldn't have time because I knew the book would pretty well take her an hour. So I have done this card. Again, I ask that you just wait till after Courtney does hers tonight because she may have used these dies. And if she did, if you have extra packs, you're good to go. Otherwise, you could play around with it a little bit as well. But this one is just your embossed background matted. I used a strip of this beautiful floral paper, which I just loved. All I did was do a strip behind it. I matted this again. It's always an adventure with you. And I added these. The one die is just the big die that was in your pack and the smaller one on top, and just layered with some foam to give it the dimension. A strip of the, so Courtney says, yes, she used the floral die cuts. So if she's used them, so don't use them ahead of time. There's plenty in your packs that you could play around and put something else out here, but at least it gives you an idea where you could put a die cut flat and a dimension on top, okay? And then you've just got a little strip of brown cardstock, that's it, and a button, good to go. Quick and easy. And because it's an inspiration card, I did the dimensions. I will post them tonight, so you will have them, but don't use these dies or die cuts. I want to make sure that, you know, Courtney has them for her projects, which again will be fantastic as they always are. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. I just want to tell you, where did I put it? It's right here, that don't forget Courtney is at 5 p.m. our time, 5 p.m. Pacific. It'll be an awesome crafty hour as usual, so make sure you tune in for that. Also, make sure you join Crafty Hour Creations. I know a lot of you have. We've had a lot of new people, which is just absolutely fantastic. We're so glad to see that. You can post your creations that you do with your leftover product and stuff as well. We always are happy to see that too. Don't forget the next Crafty Hour is Crafty Hour 58. That one is on Wednesday, February 26th. That is that amazing All in Create one. I know we still have a few left of those here at Clipper Street. I'm not sure if Scrapbook and Memories does, but we still have a few here. So make sure you give us a shout about that, because that one is going to be amazing with Diana and Courtney. And the new reveal will be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That will be Crafty Hour, believe it or not, 59. And so yeah, that one will be fantastic too. So don't forget that tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I'm sure an event has been, if it hasn't been created already, it will be. So make sure you tune in for that tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thank you so much for being with me today. I always enjoy being with you. I'm not sure when I'll do another one, but I look forward to seeing you again. I am going to be doing some inspiration items for Maker Mania too. So if you're in that, I hope you will like those items as well. So anyways, please take care. Enjoy the sunshine if it is out for you, and if it is as cold and snowy in Ontario, please take care. Drive carefully. I know you guys know how to drive, and yet that's still a lot of snow. Anyways, take care, everybody, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.